Sparkle, Shirley, Sparkle by Hannah Borchers. In the year before the stock market crash of 1929, which launched America into the Great Depression, a little girl was born in California who would become a light of hope for her country. Her name was Shirley Jane Temple. Presidents would give her credit for her significant contributions. Small towns would flock to her sweet voice, and eventually the whole world would be delighted by her sincere desire to negotiate peace and understanding. At just 5 years old, she shone out from the silver screen with innocence, life, and unconditional love. As a mature woman, she continued to gleam with a radiance of hope for the nations. Perhaps there is no other Hollywood celebrity who can be said to have taken their stardom and used it for service quite so well as Shirley Temple. In the darkest days of the Depression, when hope seemed a far-off dream, a tiny tap-dancing cutie pie in a polka-dot dress came bouncing into the lives of Americans with her curly top of golden hair, dimpled chin, and authentic charm. 1934's Stand Up and Cheer debuted Shirley Temple as the sweet little dancing daughter of actor James Dunn's character, Jimmy Dugan. Actually, she had already been in 20 films, but it was Stand Up and Cheer that caught the attention of the country. And after this, she would not only be starred in dozens of movies, but have movies written just for her. Shirley Temple was voted top box office star 4 years in a row, 1935 through 38. During these years, she would star in nearly 24 films. The majority of these included A Particular Formula, which highlighted the sensibilities of the young actress, pulling at the heartstrings of a country full of fear that their children were going to grow up to be hardened and bitter by their struggles of childhood during the Depression. In contrast, sweet Shirley, almost always an orphan by the third scene, would win over adults with her soft and forgiving nature. She maintained her innocent, unconditional love despite hardship of the worst kinds, and by the end of every film lived happily ever after with adults who were better off because of her angelic ability to dissipate conflict. Her movies called, quote, a real tonic, most perfect entertainment, and had the ability to make grown men cry between laughs. Catherine Fuller Seeley asks in a book, Glamour in a Golden Age, what was the secret of Shirley Temple's appeal? Some connect it directly to the Depression, suggesting that in the harsh times of 1934 and 1935, Shirley literally offered something for nothing, a gift of freely given love that softened hardened hearts. In reality, she offered a load of dough. Small-town theater owners called Temple prosperity incarnate. She caused a boom of business they had never experienced before. Prior to her popularity, Hollywood was in the dumps of the Depression as well. 1934 returned the poorest ticket sales in the history of the cinema industry, and Fox Pictures especially was at the verge of going under. But after Shirley's blockbuster hits, it was disputed by no one that Shirley Temple saved the studio. Unlike many a child star, Shirley Temple, who sparkled the brightest of all, only continued to gleam off-screen. She married twice and had 3 children. She was a devoted mother and supporter of state and country. She was passionate to serve wherever she could, and leveraged her fame not to her own advantage, but for the good of her country.
But although she lost her congressional bid, Shirley had found a new passion in politics.
I am dedicating my life and my energies to public service because I think our country needs it now more than it ever has before, and I want to help.
In 1969, President Richard Nixon recognized Shirley Temple Black's unique qualifications in the field of diplomatic protocol and appointed her to the post of United States Representative to the United Nations, serving on the social, humanitarian, and cultural committees.
Nixon appointed her ambassador to Ghana as well, where the president there remembered her films and she was able to cross cultures effectively. President Ford appointed her chief of protocol, the first woman to have the role, and in 1989 she was again asked to be an ambassador, this time to Czechoslovakia. Shirley Temple's mother used to sit in a director's chair off set, and just before they yelled, "Action!" call out to her daughter, "Sparkle, Shirley, sparkle!" She listened, shook her curls, and smiled. She sparkled as a child to bring hope in the dust and ashes of the Depression, and sparkled even brighter as an adult during a collapse of world powers. As President Ford remarked, the country owes a great deal to Shirley Temple. Thank you.